What's up guys, Brendan Hancock here with another episode of Groove Subaru today. And today we're going to talk about how to properly brake in your new 2017 Subaru. Now there's really 4 things that you're going to want to do or avoid doing in the first 1,000 miles to ensure that your car lasts the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of miles that we all know that your Subaru can. Now, when I refer to the break-in period, what I'm referring to is the first 1,000 miles on your odometer. That's the break-in period, and that's the time frame that you're going to want to pay attention to these things that we're talking about here in just a minute. It's also going to reign true for if you do get a new engine put into a used car. So if that engine is brand new, these things that we're talking about here are also going to reign true for those circumstances. So the first thing is you're going to want to avoid raising your RPMs or going a speed that's going to get your RPMs over 4,000. Now, the reason is that you don't want to overly strain the engine in that first 1,000 miles, since it takes some time for all of the pistons to kind of move through and properly lubricate all of the mechanical parts. So within that first 1,000 miles, they haven't really done that as much as they need to, and so that's why you're going to want to avoid putting that extra strain on it when it's not ready for that type of abuse yet. The other thing that you're going to want to do is you're also going to want to get a nice range of RPMs. So by that, we're going to want to avoid using cruise control in the first 1,000 miles because you don't want to have the car at a constant RPM for too long. Now, if you use cruise control on a test drive, for example, to demonstrate, adaptive cruise control, something of that nature, that's not that bad. Really what you're trying to avoid is that constant RPM range because you want to, as we mentioned earlier, get that nice range. You want the pistons to be able to kind of move in all of the different directions and everything that they need to in order to properly lubricate all of the mechanical parts. If you're just at one constant RPM, it's not getting to go to all of its different ranges to lubricate all those mechanical parts. So those 2 things are the first most important things that we're going to focus on. Now the other 2 are not necessarily in relation to the engine, or at least one of them isn't. And you're going to want to avoid heavy braking in that first 1,000 miles. Now, obviously, if you're in an emergency situation, same thing with the 4,000 RPM. I don't know if you'd be in an emergency cruise control desire, but obviously, if these are emergency situations, you want to do what you need to do to get out of that. So, if I'm not saying don't brake hard and then crash into an object because you're still in your braking period. So I'm not saying that at all. But the reason is that on these brake pads, the weakest part of it is actually on the very outside. It's the softest part. So if you do heavy braking like that, you're going to, burn through a lot more brake pad than you actually need to if you were to just wait a little bit longer to kind of wear it in properly. Also, you can get chunks can come out and things of that nature if you're doing it too early on, which can actually cause damage to the rotors as well. So try to avoid heavy braking, to avoid circumstances that would put you in a need to heavy brake situation in that first 1,000 miles. And last but not least, the last thing you want to do in your braking period is you're going to want to avoid turning it on really quick and putting it into gear and just flooring it right away. Same sort of philosophy of the other things that we've talked about. The pistons really need to make sure that they can get that oil moving around, lubricating all those parts. And if you're putting that much aggressive strain on both the transmission and the engine before it's had an opportunity to do that, you're going to cause unnecessary wear and tear to your vehicle. So follow these 4 rules in the first 1,000 miles and you're on your way to having a Subaru that lasts hundreds and hundreds of thousands of miles like we all know that they can. So thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate all of our subscribers. If you haven't done so already, please do subscribe and leave some comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching and see you guys next time on Groove Subaru Today.